Hello, you avid fishing freaks. I'm doing something a little different today. I'm not going to be doing a fishing video. I'm going to be doing a little bit more of a barbecue video and stuff like that. Since this coronavirus is going on, I want to do this to where I show you how I do it. I already have my seasonings made up, which has no salt in it. There's some garlic powder, some black pepper, some cumin, a little bit of beef bouillon in there that's ground up, some onion powder, and parsley and thyme, oregano. Just all ground up and into a dry blender and just done that way. But I'm going to do a coating on this. Instead of using regular mustard, I'm going to use a spicy brown mustard, which I like a lot. This is going to help the meat adhere to it, adhere to the ribs. I already took the sinew off the back of the ribs. And when I bought these ribs, I didn't know that the butcher had already jacked up the ribs by trying to cut them in half, which was a real stupid, idiotic move. So this rack of ribs, I'm going to have to put part of the back away from the heat on the smoker. It's usually going to smoke for at least 6 hours. And I already have the fire going. I'll try the smoker. I love this seasoning. I've used it on beef. I'm going to try it here on pork, see how it works. I know you guys might think that's a little bit much, but when this is going to help, the meat's going to soak in 90% of this. I could get my hands rinsed in hot water. And I've already trimmed up the meat on this. So I already got 99% of the fat, 98% of the fat off of it. The hard fat I got off of it. Beforehand. When I go to the butcher shop to get meats, I always have them the ribs uncut, but this one I took that was on the shelf because it was at a discount price, which I should never have done. I normally don't do that at the butcher shop. No, I'm not rubbing, I'm patting it in. I don't rub it because it pushes the seasoning off from where you want it to be. Patting it helps it gets more coverage where you want it. I'll be doing 2 ribs the same way. Second rib, I will show you how I clean it a little bit better. Hopefully it ain't cut like this one. So this one's set. Move this one over here out of the way. Bring another sheet of foil. And with my offset smoker, I have some cherry wood that I've been soaking in overnight. So that's going to be adding a smoking flavor to the meats. It's also going to give that good smoking flavor to it. There's the next one in the sink. These butcher shops are getting hammered really hard this time of year. This is another one they've cut, which I hate when they do that. Run cold water over it. The reason why I do that, boy, they really butchered this rack of meat up. Okay, I do have one more roll of paper towels left. I'm patting it dry first. Get the moisture off the meat. And start trimming. Just like playing a fish. If you can fillet off the fat of the meat without getting too much meat with it, you know you can fillet a fish. That's how I learned to fillet. I'm just taking off most of the hard fat so it don't run it down when you cook it. Some of the soft jelly fat, when you put on the smoker, it's going to cook off anyway. It's going to melt away. The reason why I'm doing it this way is I'm massaging the seasonings, the pre-rub into the meat. Then I just come back and pat all the dry powder and dry seasonings into it. In a minute we'll go out and check the fire and check the temperature. If you find a little bit of a pile over where you just patted, it ain't going anywhere, you can lightly brush it to where you want it to go. It ain't going to hurt it because most of the seasoning's already stuck to where it's going to be put. I'll get another roll. Ain't gonna be a problem. Now here we go to the backside trimming. Hard pad just has it, won't cook down, but it won't let the seasoning into the meat neither. What I'm going to be doing here is pulling the sinew off the back of the ribs. Sometimes it don't come off in one piece. There that goes. That's all off. But with this pandemic, it's really hard to get good cuts of meat. No matter how much money you want to spend on it. You do have those people that just want to go out there and buy everything up, throw it in their freezer, pre-wrapped, without yeah, I got another one. Same stuff but a different bottle. I like the Deli Market better. I bought that other one a while back when they were out of the Deli Market. Now that I have the sinew off, the meat can go into the back of the ribs as well. When we come back in from the pit, I'm checking the pit and everything. I'll show you how I make a marinade, a basting marinade. Yeah, as you notice, I didn't put as much on the back as I should have. Should put more. It's due to the bones. But this basting marinade is going to be simple and easy. And we'll be right back. We'll be right back when we get to that fire pit. Okay, we're back. Let's see if I can find a way to flip this around. But apparently it ain't gonna let me do that. Alright, so the temperature is about 325 inside. It's a little smoky. As you can see, it's a little smoky. So this has already been cured. Been sprayed down once with oil. It's a new temperature gauge. I broke the other one. This one's a remote. Just press it till the light comes on. I lay that in there for a minute. Turn this on. Just to give me the current temp. And over here is a fire box. I can keep an eye on the fire and everything. Have a piece of hickory in there with some red oak. So that's burning good. And with this remote here, I can be anywhere within 100 yards of this, and it'll tell me the reading. Let's see. Other. For now, I try to bring it out to meat, because I want this to hit a internal temperature of at least 150 inside the smoker before I bring out the meat. I'm still working with this a little bit. Alright, so that's going to be a little high. Trim that down. And adjust that. I'm setting the timer on this for 6 hours. May be done sooner with the temperature that it reaches inside. I'll be back when I get this all set up. When I get this all set up and get ready to bring the meats out, I'll bring it back. Alright, as you can see, I brought out one rib. And it's setting about 250, right about where I want it. What I want to do is place this one towards the back here. This is about right there. And take this and poke that right into there. With that still being on, look at this. Gives me an internal core temperature of 61 degrees. Start timer. So 6 hours. It'd be good. We'll come back in a couple hours after bring out the second rack of ribs and the meats, and I'll be right back. Or the watered, the soaked cherry wood. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back with a second rack of ribs. And we're going to do the same thing. I just wish these butchers on clearance wouldn't cut these damn ribs up the way they did. Close that down. Bring this out. The watered wood. Put that in there and let it set. We'll see you back inside on the counter when I make the basting sauce. Okay, we're back. When you make a basting sauce, it's going to be a little sweet, but yet have a little spice. So I'm gonna, oh, where's my measuring cup first? Let me find that real quick.
When in doubt, look at the last place you put it. Last place I put it was in the dishwasher. So we're going to go with about a quarter cup. I'll make it a half cup. Half cup of ginger ale. I just do it this way. Right now I know it looks sweet, but it won't be when I'm done. Then I'm going to add some Canadian mist to it. About a quarter cup. And mix it in real good. I won't cook this off, so I'll baste both meats with it. Toss in some garlic. Dash of black pepper. A little bit more than the dash, but oh well. I like black pepper anyway. And leave it set. And then my barbecue basting brush right here. So we'll be back later when we get ready to baste. And right now the temperature is setting at, internal temperature is setting at 54 degrees. We'll check back later in about an hour and a half, 2 hours, check on the flame. Alright, we're back out here checking on the temperature. It's still setting about 150. And as you can see, I still got some good coals in there. So I got some more coals going right there just in case. I'm going to let them burn down to where they're white and get them ready. Increase the flow rate because it's clear. I haven't peeked it into here yet, but just curious to see how they're looking. Well, they're still steaming, they're still moist. That's good. And with the way this timer's going, it'll be done in 6 hours. I'll see you back in a little while. It's been about an hour since he's been, about 45 minutes to an hour since he's been on. I'll let you know how they're looking in a little bit. Okay, you guys, we're back. It's been 2 hours on the grill. And over here in the smoke box, you see it's kind of getting a little low. So I got more coals. I got another heap of cylinder coals over here going, ready to be poured in. That cylinder helps a lot when it comes to getting your coals ready. And as you see here, I don't know if you can see that very well, but the meats are getting a little dried. So I'm going to take this marinade brine, dab it on there. And let it cook into the meat. I'm not going to pour it on there where it's going to just run off. I'm just going to dab it to where it's moist. Let it get into the meat and cook in. Let it get nice and tender to where it just falls off the bone. With this, you want to make sure every bit of the meat's covered. You come back and do this about every hour, every 2 hours, depending on how high you got your heat running. The alcohol is going to cook out anyway, so, but it's also going to help tenderize the meat. And any fat that comes out of this meat will go down in the drop pan on the bottom of the smoker. Smoker has a hole in the bottom with a little bucket that catches all the fat and water and juices, which I won't use or touch. I discard them in the fire pit and burn them off. I'll be adding a piece of hickory in there to get it really smoky, to get a good smoke ring on it. The cherry has been used and going good with it. And you got to keep this stirred up to get all the ingredients on it. And there that goes. As you can see, the meat's at 131. We got 3 hours and 58 minutes yet to go. And I'm going to put this chunk of hickory on there. To help it smoke. I want just a shoot on it to where it goes lower. And I'll see you back here in 2 hours.